So, here's one you might find a bit interesting, and more to the point, I'm very interested to see what the general consensus from drivers, and it might also be a thing that the general public don't realise, and it is to do with the shortage of drivers, etc, etc. So, taking away the CPC and everything else, the driving hours regulations. Now, it could be a reason that a lot of people don't get into the industry because the constraints are so tight and almost unnecessary, because all HGV drivers, if you're not a driver, will know that we all fall under the same umbrella of tacho hours, barring recovery drivers, and there's a couple of exceptions, but most of us fall within these constraints. Why can't they make it more adaptable depending on what you're sort of doing? So for me, for example, I work Saturday, I worked a 6-day week. Now all through the week I've not worked any later than 4 o'clock, 4:30 most of the week. So why should you then be like confined to having a 45 off this week? This week I'm due a 45. That's hence I'm still sitting here at 10 to 8, you know, just warming the truck up. Why can they not adapt it that drivers can work a bit more if they want to? Give an opt-in, opt-out, a bit like the sort of night work that, you know, general people wouldn't understand, but you have to opt in to certain hours. So why can't you do it for driving? Because if you was, and you hear on the news all the time, a doctor, they say these doctors have worked 36 hours straight but are still allowed to perform an operation. I've been off since 11 o'clock Saturday morning and I still can't drive till 8 o'clock Monday morning. It just seems ridiculous. Not every truck and every truck driver is doing 9 hours, like, you know, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours, a 9-hour drive extended to 10. Not every driver's doing that. I might only drive to Canary Wharf, and like say an hour most. But I might be lifting with the crane for 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll come back to the yard an hour the other way. So I've actually only done 2 hours driving. So why should, you know, and again, only if you wanted to. I could work Saturday and Sunday, then all of a sudden you haven't got a shortage of drivers. You could have drivers that haven't maxed their hours in the week, you know, picking up a shift on a Saturday, for example, and working all day. That would sort of go some way to sort of making the driver shortage a little bit better. But because we're so confined and constrained by this EU law, you know, presuming that everyone was driving all over the continent, some lorries don't do that. So why not make it a little bit more adaptable? What do you think, guys?